What's going on, guys? Thanks for coming back to yet another video. And the very first thing I want to say before I get into anything is that everything I am saying is anecdotal knowledge or experience from what I've gone through and what I've seen a couple other people go through, and there's not going to be that much science that you can put behind everything I'm saying. So it is very possible that everything I'm saying might not happen for you if you go into these topics and the lifestyle that I'm about to address. So just want to put that out there for anybody that would try to say that anything I'm saying isn't accurate. But the topic today is going to be natural training versus enhanced training and my experience with that. And I made a little chart if anybody wants to, I know it's in mirror mode, so it's going to make it a little challenging, but I got to be able to see what I'm doing. But basically it's just like the pros and cons, the versus from each side to the other in regards to natural and enhanced training. And it really just has to come down to what you do to build muscle the best way, because it's not really the same. And there's a couple things that people might not realize, but when I mentioned it, it'll make sense. So with natural training, I've noticed that something that's very important is really focusing on the sets, like the numbers. Okay, well, I've got my little pamphlet where I write down everything I do, and oh, well, I've done 5 sets of 8 with this, bro. And da, da, da. Like, from my experience, most of the time, the people that are natural, that's what they do. And I haven't met very many people that use steroids that have like a documented set-by-set regimen. Are there some? Sure, but it seems to be less common. And the reason for that is because with enhanced training, it's a lot more about the feeling, especially people that are starting off, because it's hard to quantify how much the testosterone or whatever else you're taking on top of it is going to exactly, boost you. There's really no telling. I get so many messages. God, one day I'm gonna screenshot all the messages on either Instagram or Facebook because it's ridiculous. Obviously I'll blur out the names or whatever, but I get a lot of questions, and the vast majority of them is people asking me, oh, well, what will happen if I take this? What will happen if I do that? And guess what I say? I don't know. Anything can happen, It's very possible that you could take testosterone. It's just bunk as fuck and doesn't do anything for you. You just get bad acne and horny and don't grow at all. Another thing that really depends is the quality of the shit. We're talking about an illegal drug, so it affects everybody different, the quality level, the concentration, whatever. And back to my point of enhanced training is it's really about the feeling. You are going to have some days when that cycle first gets going where you're going to do what your typical workout would be, and you're like, I still feel like I can keep going. Or you designate a certain body group that you're going to do for that day, and you're like, I think I could do some legs today. And that's what's going to happen a lot of the time, is a lot of people that are using, they're going to do calves when they're doing back, or whatever, quads when they're doing shoulders, just because what the hell, you still got the energy, you're not sore, might as well put the money that you spent on the testosterone to good use. So that's like the biggest thing that I've noticed in regards to that is it's not nearly as much of regimen oriented, because it's difficult to get sore from testosterone. That's what it does. It takes what you would usually do that would get you sore and multiplies it by 3 or 4. But another thing too with that, another fact that I wrote down is, another thing is the rep ranges. From what I've seen, most natural people benefit a lot more from high weight, low reps. I'm talking 6 to 8 on the bench, oh, I can get 225 6 times. I'll just do 3 sets of that. And a lot of people that are enhanced, they benefit from really repping it out, 15, 20, 25 pounds, reps. That's what I do too. And I've noticed that while on gear, you really get that lean muscle, you get that the veins, you get all that stuff when you're doing 15, 20, 25 reps. Those are the rep sequences where I can feel it the most. And I'm not a fan of the what can I do 6, 7, 8 times type rep scheme, because every time I try that, I always feel like it's not good enough, like I could do more. But obviously that's what juice does, it makes you do more. And my last point is in regards to food, because food, you can go on and on and on about food in regards to natty versus enhanced, and there are a lot of different opinions out there about that. But like I said, from my experience, don't kill me guys, my experience is that with natural training, it's very, very, very important to calorie count, really pay attention, watch your carbs, this and that, because you're natural. You're running only off of what's capable of your body and your genetics. But when you get to the enhanced training, especially when you're first starting off, you're going to notice that your appetite just skyrockets. And it's kind of alarming because it's hard to not, especially for people that might be a little bit more chubby or overweight or whatever, you're going to start thinking that you're going to gain a bunch of weight because you're eating a lot more. But let me tell you, not necessarily, because steroids are basically like turning the turbocharger or the supercharger, whatever you want to say, on. So you're sitting there pouring that gas in there, known as the food, and you're like, holy shit, it runs out so fast. Yeah, and that's exactly my point with the enhanced eating of food, is that most of the time the focus is just eating enough, period. Because when you're running some tests and things are going well and you're feeling strong, the most difficult thing is to stay full. Like, it's almost impossible for a lot of people. They sit there, they eat a meal, 2 hours later, they're like, holy shit, I'm hungry again. And it's just a matter of just eating. And it's, that can be a challenge enough in itself. A lot of bodybuilders, you see like the Jay Cutler video where he's like, I don't even like eating, I eat so much, I'm so tired of it. It's like, yeah, that's what you gotta do. And it sucks, but like, you'll see a lot of really big bodybuilders and a lot of lean ones at that are getting cheeseburgers that are, remember like C.T. Fletcher did, but I guess he wasn't really that lean at one point. But, long story short is, it's just getting as many calories into your body as possible within reason. And that in itself is a diet. Obviously people, when they hear a diet, they think of the strict, regimented thing, but in a sense, a diet can just be eating way more than you naturally really want to. And, there's unique challenges in both sides of the fence. And that's a point that I want to reiterate to people in regards to what my discussion is today, is that you really have to differentiate how natty training versus enhanced training is. And people need to know, I did train naturally for 5 years, so it's not like I'm not experienced in this. So thank you everyone for tuning in. If anybody has an idea on a video, I greatly appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.